on Conversations with Michael Eisner, Bette Midler on Being a Diva.
Well, I was probably difficult because I was very ambitious and I didn't have any other interests, which is not good, not really
You
healthy.
weren't difficult at Disney at all.
I was, by that time I had been so beaten up that I was like, I was a desperate housewife. I was playing a part for real.
Then, TV's Iron Man, Regis Philbin, takes over and turns the tables.
But now, why do you want to be a talk show?
I don't know.
But you're enjoying
As I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking maybe this is like idiotic.
Plus, Academy Award winner Goldie Hawn and the story behind one of her biggest movies, Private Benjamin.
So this was really probably the biggest film you made, right? I mean, certainly it was a big turning point.
It was a turning point. I've made big films and I've made money, but that was a huge turning point.
And I had the stupidity of not making the movie.
All that ahead on Conversations. Now, here are Michael Eisner and Goldie Hawn.
So Goldie, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure. I'm loving being here.
I appreciate it. And I want to start right off, and the most difficult part
Yeah.
is me and Private Benjamin.
Right.
So this was really probably the biggest film you've made, right? I mean, certainly it was a big turning point.
It was a turning point. I've made big films and I've made money, but that was a huge turning point.
And I had the stupidity of not making the movie.
Well, if that's the only stupid thing you've ever done, you're like already winning.
I read the script. We met.
Yeah.
I told you it didn't have a third act.
Right.
You looked at me and said, what? And I tried to convince you that there was no third act.
Right.
And you looked at me and said, who is this idiot?
Right. Not totally.
And then you went and made it for another studio.
Right.
And I went to the movie theater, convinced that I was right, that there was not going to be a third act.
Yeah.
And when Albert Brooks drops dead in the first scene, I turned to my wife and I said, I'm getting the feeling I made this giant mistake. And every scene in the movie got better. And then it was like the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. That was a problem even at Warner Brothers. Because, you know, there were a lot of people that kind of liked the movie, that they wanted to change things, and that there was TriStar and this thing. And they would say, gee, you don't look Jewish. Maybe you should be from Dallas, you know, let's make her. So everybody had something, right? And Warner Brothers came in, and that was Shapiro at the time. And he said, I love this movie. If we don't get to make this movie when
No,
the
I
first
love the
version-
movie too.
But wait.
But I didn't like the third act.
No, but
and
hold
you fixed
on.
it.
No, but hold on, because your instincts were right.
Right,
I was
that helps.
dealing with, okay, I'm giving them this story.
That helps.
I was dealing with the end of this movie, which was the third act, and they said, you know, we have a problem here because you can't take this movie and shift it to Paris in the third act. I mean, you just can't do that. And I went in and I fought this battle.
Well, you were
So
right.
you were, yeah, I said, because when you are with a character and you love this character and you're an audience and you just, you know, it's great. She can take, or he can take you to the moon.
Obviously, you're
so
right.
it didn't
But
matter.
I didn't make the mistake in foul play, even though I got close, right?
You did come close. Yeah.
This was embarrassing. I'm sure we've discussed this before, but I didn't really remember that you'd had a baby. Mm-hmm. And you're.
But what did you remember?
I just remembered seeing you in some picture,
And I
a
looked.
still picture. You look great. Wait a second.
Wait
Wait
a
a second.
minute,
So I call up your agent who says, Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chase, fantastic. And I said, isn't Goldie a little heavy? And had this very interesting conversation with Stan Kamen, your agent, and it was very confidential between the two of us.
Right.
And we decided to have a meeting. And the meeting was only for me to see you because he told me you looked great. I was really embarrassed. And you came in and turned to me and said, so you think I'm fat? And that's when I learned that agents aren't to be trusted.
Exactly. And some people who are actors are actually honest.
Well, that movie, which was a fantastic movie, was really the beginning of a career change for me. And it made the first summer that I was at Paramount a smash, because between that and Grease, we had a pretty good summer.
That's right. And it actually was a turning point for me, because before I did your film, Foul Play, I had decided to have a baby and become a mother. And it wasn't so much anxious about will I ever work again, or is this going to work? And suddenly, I guess after Oliver was almost 2, and I hadn't worked for 3 years, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm done. Maybe it's over. You know, I did Laugh In, I did Cactus Flower, I have an Academy Award. You know, maybe this is God's way of saying, hey, you lucky thing, but figure out something else to do. And I started getting concerned. And that's when I got called about Foul Play, and I thought, Well, oh, that they wanted somebody else. And I said, no. He says, well, he thinks you're a little heavy. I think you should just go in and meet him. So I put on a straight skirt.
Well, at least he said heavy and not something worse.
Well, he didn't. He said fat. But at any rate, so I then put on the straight skirt. But the point is that movie shifted my career. So each time you do a shift in your life, right, or you do a change in your life, then sometimes it feels like it's not going to happen and your career is not going to do well. And the next thing you know is that these choices that you make actually catapult you to the next level.
Let's go back then a little bit, because there's something interesting, and I've read your book. You have a terrific memoir book that came out last year. And when you did Laugh-In, you stumbled into a character that was like the ditzy blonde, because you're not that character in real life. You are very smart and all that. And for a lot of your career, you have taken that character and made that character into a machine of great success. Have you ever regretted that you went that route, or have you ever thought, how do I get out of that route? Or, and you have done films that are not in that route.
No, in fact, we did one together, you know, because it was nice to be able to stretch and to do something. I went through a period where, you know, we come as instruments, okay? We're just human beings with energy and instruments, and that's what I had, okay? So my instrument was something that literally played a happy tune, you know? And part of me, when I got to be around 30, and, you know, I thought, well, gee, people need to take me seriously, and, you know, I'm sexy, and maybe I should do like a sexy movie and, you know, take pictures. And I went through a period of insecurity about, am I just going to be like this blonde who's not taken seriously? And I actually bought into it myself, and that's the key, right? And then I realized, it came to me, what in the world are you fighting?
And now you were just a giant star. At this moment, you were...
I became a star after I did Laugh-In.
And then when you did Cactus Flower, you became a star with unbelievable credibility because you won the Academy Award.
Right.
So now there was nothing you couldn't do.
Well, I felt that when I won the Academy Award, I was so young, and I never thought that I would ever get another one, because I felt that it was a bit of a jinx. I thought that I went out, I did a lovely comedy, I was all that one could be or do in that lovely role. But the fact that I was honored with it, which I take to heart and I treasure it, but I really, even at 25, when I won this award, I said, you know what, Goldie? It's going to be a long time before you get another one.
So how did you, during all this period of deciding what to do and being a working actress, become such a great mother? Because I know you are. I know you are from firsthand, not from reading some People magazine.
No, we've been
I
together.
know you are. And so how did, a lot of people aren't able to commit that kind of time. How did you get that done?
You said it, commitment. Commit is the word. And I start with the intention of being a good mother. And I really can take a look at what I really valued in my life. And the one thing that I knew I could fail at was parenting. I couldn't fail at the business because some of that's going to fail anyway. You can't control certain things. You go out, you make a movie, you do the best you can, you believe in it, an editor can take and screw it up. So it's out of your hands. So you have to surrender to the fact that in the movie industry, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some.
And that can't happen with children?
It can't happen with children.
Well, they get out of your control, they get into bad friends, they get into
if you're
whatever.
not paying attention and you don't make that promise to yourself that you're going to be there, no matter what, for these children, and that's your intention, I dare say you're not going to fail.
And so how did you arrange to be there when a film career forces you to be elsewhere?
I didn't
with you?
go away very much. I took them with me when I went away. I didn't leave them any more than 2 weeks at a time, and that was rare. I tutored them myself while I was on the set. I made sure that they were doing their studies.
But now you have a daughter, and to be a woman in Hollywood, and you are still doing great parts, but your daughter is like the hot Goldie Hawn from a few years ago.
She's the hot Kate Hudson, yeah.
She has done some films that at a very young age were very much honored, very like you were.
Absolutely. It was
and she
very
does
weird.
Look frightening like you.
There's
I mean,
there's an energy there. There's
no,
definitely
the eyes, trust me.
There's a joy. You know,
You see
I
her,
think she's a lot like my mom.
Well, that may be true.
She does. It's almost scary when Mom was at that age, you know. But she's got the good smile, she's got the great heart, and she's got amazing talent.
It's great that you married the biggest Disney star ever.
How about that? Wait a minute. You want to talk about what's really crazy about all this?
What?
Get ready. I don't know if you know this story. So I'm now dancing I come to LA, I'm dancing. I got a job on Good Morning World, but I was still considered myself a dancer. So I went out for an audition for a Disney movie called The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band.
You're kidding.
No. And I go out for this audition, and now I'm lost, and I'm on Dopey Drive, right? And I've got my dance bag, and I'm walking around Dopey Drive, and I'm going, where is this audition? I don't know. So I stopped this lady, and I said, excuse me, I'm lost. I'm going to the audition. I'm a dancer for The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band. Do you know where that is? And she said, yes, dear. She said, it's right over there. So I go over there. I get the audition. I make it. I get a part. The part's the part of the giggly girl. And I notice on the set, in the movie, is a guy who's really short and really adorable, and he's playing the drums. He's one of the kids in the family band. It happens to be Kurt Russell. And I looked at him.
Well, of course, you must have known at this point that he was Walt Disney's favorite actor.
Of course not.
You didn't even know that.
Of course
and he'd
not.
done,
You didn't know.
what, 10 movies for
Yes,
Disney?
but I didn't know he was just this guy in a drum.
Did you talk to Kurt Russell on the
Oh,
set?
no, I just looked at him. I thought he was awful cute, but he was too young. So anyway, so years later, 2 husbands later, children later, everything, I'm now looking at guys for Swing Shift, which is a movie that I produced over at Warner Brothers.
Excellent movie.
And I'm sitting there, and Kevin Costner left the room because we read together as well, and in comes Kurt Russell. And he looked at me and he said, I got something to tell you. You made your first movie with me at Disney. And you know what? You went up to my mother and you asked her how to get to the rehearsal hall.
That was his mother?
That was his mother. And she went home and she said, I met a girl that's going to get the part. I can tell.
Really?
Yeah. So, of course, she's like my mother-in-law. And, you know, even though we're not married, but 23 years, I guess I can call her family.
That counts. So,
is that a great story?
it is a great story.
Yeah.
So,
Did it take too long to tell?
Not at all. Not at all. We were on a plane once together, and we were talking about faith and stuff like that. And then you gave me, if you can believe this,
Oh, no.
you gave me a crystal,
Oh, my God.
which, this is like 25 years ago.
I know.
Which I put it in a jacket that my wife thinks is a very ugly jacket that I was wearing that night, that I bought in Iceland, and made out of reindeer. So it's also politically inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
But I wear it like once a year, and once a year, I put my hand in the pocket, and there is this, I've lost everything else I own. But I can't lose this crystal you gave me.
Oh.
So now, but I'm not quite sure what it means and why I have it.
No, but I'll tell you what, I have to touch this. This is actually a really nice piece. This is
You're not getting it back.
I know. This is tourmaline.
What?
Tourmaline. This is a green tourmaline, I think. Yeah. And people use this because it absorbs negative energy. Now, if you believe it, okay, you need to believe, because if you don't believe it, then the energy isn't going to take you to a place where it's going to matter anyway. But according to this is a living, energetic system right here. This has a vibration just like every piece of your body.
It takes care of negativity?
It absorbs negativity.
I should have worn it at a few of my
And
meetings.
it's good for healing, and I gave it to you for a reason. And I'm glad you never got rid of it.
I never did.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is fantastic. Well, you make all of us very happy.
Thanks,
and we
honey.
love your movies. We love your work.
Thank you.
We love your children.
I love you.
Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Next on Conversations, Regis Philbin settles some unfinished business.
Why did ABC put on 4 episodes of The Millionaire and then expect it to survive in prime time?
I'd like to say, I don't know, but I was the person who made that mistake.
That's next when Conversations with Michael Eisner returns.
Conversations with Michael Eisner is brought to you by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group. Make it happen.
He crashed that drive, and Jack picks up still another birdie. Birdie country again.
If he put together his best shots from every hole of the Masters, Jack Nicklaus would turn in a card of 48.
That's about as close to flawless golf as you'll ever see.
You feeling better?
I'm getting there. And I do feel good that we have Aflac.
Glad I asked about it at work.
I'm glad it's helping pay the bills.
Electric bill, house payments, even Michelle's education. Helps with just about any bills our health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Stock and option exchanges are competing for your next order. Is your broker taking maximum advantage? Interactive Broker's smart order routing system reacts instantly to changing prices within a complex web of exchange rules. Smart routing plus ultra-low commissions will make a dramatic impact on your trading results. The Interactive Broker's smart router. After 6 years of evolution, intelligent design that even Darwin could appreciate. Interactive Brokers. Options, stocks, futures, ETFs, Forex, bonds, worldwide.
From financing the sunglasses manufacturing plant, to purchasing its corporate headquarters, to leasing the sunglasses national chain of retail stores, CB Richard Ellis, your business partner for all your real estate needs.
Exclusive discounts at spas. Just one of the many benefits of Visa Signature, the rewards card that rewards you for living.
I'm Kathy Griffin, and I want off the celebrity D-list. I've learned a lot from the A-listers I've stalked. Here's the plan. You'll vote. Whatever wins, I'll do. So log on and vote now, America. You too, Canada. Help a brother out. To vote, go to offthedlist.com.
And don't miss My Life on the D-List, next Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, only on Bravo.
Tired of spending money on advertising that misses the target? Charter Media makes it easy. Leeds mattress owner Neil Leeds tells us why he advertises with Charter.
Charter Media makes it really affordable to advertise because there's no waste. You get to pinpoint the community you want to serve, and you could directly reach those clients. Make a call Charter, and let them come, tell them about your business, and let them do the work for you.
For advertising that will capture your target audience, call Charter Media, 626-430-3566.
My windows let drafts in, can't operate, too noisy, just plain ugly. Advanced Windows and Doors can change your outlook. Insulate your home with new windows, reduce outside noise, and have windows that actually work. Transform your home from sedate to gorgeous. Act now, get 8 retrofit Milgard windows for $3,500 installed. Advanced Windows and Doors will provide you with free estimates, excellent financing, and most jobs complete in just one day. Call Advanced Windows and Doors today. 888-443-6133.
Conversations with Michael Eisner continues now with TV talk show host Regis Philbin.
So Regis, the reason I wanted you to come on my show is I need to learn how to do what you do. So you're here to explain to me how you do this, how you prepare, how you did it, how you went from San Diego to running the world, how you became the best friend of everybody. I mean, give me the whole thing.
Oh, that's a lot. You know, Michael, I never knew when I was a page right here in this studio and downstairs on the 6th floor, I never knew what I wanted to do. I never thought I had any talent. And it wasn't until I saw Jack Parr one night when I was working in radio in San Diego, California, that I said, you know, I have a chance to do what he did. He would come out and sit on the edge of the desk and just talk into the camera and tell them where he had been, what he had done that night.
Were you a page on his show?
No, I wasn't. I was a page. My first job for NBC was a page on The Tonight Show. Steve Allen was hosting the show. That really goes back.
I gave those dinner reservations for Johnny Carson to the guests that won the little song.
Oh, is that right? Yes. Oh, no kidding.
Right
yeah.
Here, right here.
Well, I was a little bit before you, though. Steve Allen did it from the theater on 44th Street. And I was in the second balcony, and I was watching them kind of rehearse. And my God, you know, that stable of talent Steve Allen had, Bill Dana, Louis Nye, Tom Poston.
Did you want to replace him?
Steve Eady. No, but I said to myself, what talent do I have? These are the most talented people I had ever seen.
That's what you said to me before we started. What talent do you have?
Exactly.
Why are you doing this?
I didn't say that. I know what that's like to have to answer that question. Anyway, that's how I started. And when I saw Jack Parr later on, I figured, you know, I had a shot because I thought I could do what Jack did.
And then you were the sidekick to Joey Bishop?
And then I had a decision to make. Joey called me, and I was doing my own show in Hollywood.
And you had to be the straight man to the comedian?
I was like his Gelman.
But did you somebody told me once that you walked off in a huff, didn't come back for a couple of days.
As a matter of fact, I did.
But that's not your personality.
No, but I was very angry because the show was off to a slow start. And ABC executives, and I think you were one of them.
I was too low. I was too low. I was getting their laundry.
I know
I was getting their dry cleaning.
Okay.
I didn't.
But he, I had heard that maybe they were saying Regis was the wrong announcer for Joey. Well, all Regis did was, here's Joey. Anyway, I heard that, kept hearing it in the hallway, and finally one night said, I think I'm wrong for you. So I said to Joey, I'm going to leave. And I left.
But you came back 2 days later.
I came back a week later.
Did they beg you?
They requested
pay you
it.
more?
No, they didn't pay me any more, but they requested it.
So what did you say when you came back? I had a stomach ache? The dog ate my homework?
No, Joey had talked about what had happened, and Joey summed it up very succinctly that night. He said, and I was expecting a little more than this, but he said simply, all's well that ends well.
And you're
What?
back.
And I'm back.
All right, so ABC then replaced Joey with Dick Cavett.
Yeah, and I started AM Los Angeles.
And it became a giant hit based
Enormous
on
hit.
those fabulous opening conversations that I'm trying to mimic right now.
Well, the host chat is the bellwether of the show.
But you created that. That's
Yes,
unique.
I created that because that's what I learned from Jack Parr.
And 7 years, you went to like #1?
Yeah, we were #1 in LA. That was before cable. We had enormous ratings, enormous numbers.
And then you came to New York and you were #1?
Then I came to New York in 1983.
18 years of, which I think I was one of the people that put it into syndication.
That's right.
Your
You
show.
did. When Disney bought ABC, we went syndicated with Disney.
Was Cindy Garvey your co-host when she was in the middle of the scandals or whatever? She was having an affair with somebody or whatever. What was that? Or do I have the wrong co-host? I can't remember. Something happened with her. Her husband was a first baseman for the Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers. Well,
Something was going on.
They separated. They broke up, and she came to New York, and she was here when I came back. So Bill.
So you had something to talk about in your
right, so
conversations.
ABC thought it would be good if we were paired again. We had done the show together in Los Angeles.
Is that the key to be paired with somebody who has marital trouble?
No, not at all. No,
you have a history of that.
But that's
not
pretty,
your marital
That's
trouble.
pretty hard, Michael.
Good
you know,
though,
when
isn't it?
someone. No, Michael.
It's not good for the show?
No, it may
Wait
be
a
good for
second.
the ratings, but it's difficult on you because you're feeling some empathy for that person.
Now,
Of
let me ask you a
course.
question. Kathy Lee had all her children while she was on the show.
Yeah.
And then did you know Kelly Ripa was pregnant when you gave her that slot?
You know what?
Is this the key to be pregnant to come on your show?
Well, it kind of sounds that way, doesn't it? Because we're trying her out on the show, and we liked her a lot, and we brought her over to a psychic named Shar, whom I had used
That's
on
not
the
the way you
coast.
get pregnant.
No, but the psychic said to her, "You're pregnant," and she blushed and said, "You're right," and we didn't know about it. But anyway, it worked out fine. So she had her second baby and her third baby while she was co-hosting the show.
I have to admit, when I was talking to Bob Iger and you were looking for a new co-host, we did discuss it would be good if you had a co-host who was young enough to have babies, because your audience is interested in all that.
Absolutely. And it's exactly what we've done, and of course it's paid off. You're not thinking about a co-host.
No.
No. You don't have room enough at this
The
table.
table's not big enough. All right, so when you do a show like this, do you go home and like read the books and prepare and get yourself all ready so you know everything about the
Here's
person,
what I
or
do,
do you
Michael,
just do
because
it?
to me what's very important is that opening segment. And so whatever I go through, I had dinner last night with you, talked about it today on the show. I did a show with you today, you're probably on tomorrow's show. Whatever I experience during the day, I kind of package in my head. And the next day, I never talked to Kelly before the show. There are no writers on the show. I use that material to tell the audience and her what I did last night, what happened to me during the day. And so that's what I use. Now, at the end of the day, they send me a little packet with the names of the guests and what they're up to, what their movie is about, and all of that. And I take a quick look at that. But that's how I prepare.
So when you did The Millionaire,
Yeah.
you didn't have that. You just had this event kind of
That
program.
was a big change
Was
for
that
me,
fun
The
to do
Millionaire,
that?
because everything was scripted on that show. You know,
Was that fun? Because that was a giant.
it was a giant hit.
You know, right in the middle of The Millionaire.
Yeah.
The cable company in New York, Time Warner, took the ABC feed off the air
I well
in
remember
New York.
that, yeah.
And
The
it
outcry was great, wasn't
the greatest thing ever to happen to ABC.
Right.
Because
So-
it was very badly timed by Time Warner, because it was the third episode of the first time Millionaire was on the air.
Exactly.
And we literally had a nunnery of nuns in front of the mayor's office with placards.
No kidding.
Because the third show was canceled, and it was
And so you won that one, didn't you?
because of you.
Well,
You
let me-
have been- yeah, by the way, I won a lot because of you.
Really? What else did you win?
Well, the morning show is a giant hit for ABC. It's just gigantic. And The Millionaire turned ABC around.
But let me ask you something.
And you're now teaching me how to do this. How much more could I win?
Why did ABC put on 4 episodes of The Millionaire and then expect it to survive in prime time?
I'd like to say, I don't know, but I was the person that made that mistake.
Was it because the show was so big or because we had nothing else at the time?
No. The reason was that honestly, I'm now thinking of the conversation I had with Bob Iger. I had worked as a page on Jeopardy and on The Price is Right and all those shows, and they were still on the air. This is 40 years later.
Absolutely.
So I thought 5 days a week would work. And I didn't realize that something as hot as The Millionaire tired quicker than a show that was cooler like Jeopardy. So we sat around, and it wasn't out of greed, and it wasn't out of we needed extra programming. It was, this is the way these programs work. That people like the everyday demand to tune in.
Exactly.
And in fact, we killed it. We killed the Golden Goose.
But shouldn't have stayed on one night a week after that? Isn't there a place for The Millionaire?
Can't we be stupid?
On television?
Can't we be stupid? I mean, we do make mistakes. There were a bunch of people sitting in a room saying, hey, let's do this. And it wasn't about making more money, which people say. It wasn't about greed. It was that we thought a strip, which is every night, across the same time period, would be successful. And the audience tired of it. And I had been trying to put on a big money game show since the $64,000
I know that.
question.
I know that. We talked about that years ago. You see, I've known Michael now, well, for almost 40 years. All through your career, ABC, then Paramount Pictures, and then Disney. I mean, you've been very, very successful. You made a lot of great decisions.
Well, but I had a lot of people that I work with that made most of those decisions.
But now, why do you want to be a talk show?
I don't know.
But you're enjoying it.
As I'm sitting here telling you, I'm thinking maybe this is idiotic.
But you were fascinated by it.
I did a Charlie Rose, and Charlie said he was going on vacation, wanted to do one hosting. And I interviewed Barry Dillard, and I interviewed John Travolta.
And you were pretty good.
Well, they were great. Forget how I was. Because I knew Barry so well, Barry Dillard, and because I knew John Travolta so well, having been part of the casting of Cotter and Saturday Night Fever and Grease and Urban Cowboy and many others, I was able to ask them questions that a journalist wouldn't know as much as I know.
Exactly.
And I even talked about Scientology with him, and he was fabulous. And Dillard was off the charts, and we talked about a lot of stuff. So I thought this would be fun to do.
And?
Well, it is fun.
Well, sure
it is fun.
You're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it.
It's nice that you finally got a chance to find your niche in this business.
No, you see, everybody thinks they can do the show.
There are all kinds of people who can do it.
No, you and Oprah.
Tony Danza, Ellen, The View Girls, everybody.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who can't do it. And sometimes it's more complex than people think. You know, you've got to make the guests look good, first of all. That is a prerequisite. Otherwise, you're not going to get anybody on the show. But, you know, just let me take you back to the days here when I was a page. I did the summer show with Eddie Fisher, one of the giants. It was in the 50s, and Fisher had that magnificent
Oh, my mama,
voice.
or what is it?
Exactly. Oh, my papa.
Oh, my papa.
Close.
All right.
So,
see, I'm not tuned up for this.
I'm there watching Eddie Fisher, and they decide that at the last show of the summer season, Eddie would sing his big hit of that time, and would go up the stairs to the elevator, which was on the next floor. And I would stand at the top of the stair holding that elevator so that he would get in the elevator and leave on his vacation. I was so excited that I was going to be seen on television that I called my mother up in the Bronx. I said, Mom, I'm going to be seen on TV. You must watch the Eddie Fisher show. She said, okay, I would. She was never too keen on me being in this business, but I thought she'd be thrilled about this, seeing her son on TV. So it happened just the way the producers thought it would be. Fisher sang his big song, walked up the aisle. The kids came out of the aisle. They mobbed him. They rushed him. He fought his way through, got to the top of the stairs. I'm holding the elevator. Eddie got in and was gone, and I was seen on TV because the camera picked me up. I ran down the hallway to the phone, called my mother in the Bronx, said, Mom, did you see me on TV? She said, yeah. But where was Eddie going on vacation? How do you like
that taught you about what's important in life.
To her, that's right. I learned that not everybody is fascinated by being on TV.
Well, mothers are a unique thing. My mother, the only time I ever let my mother be interviewed about her son's modest success, the interviewer said, well, how do you feel about that? And she said, It was amazing to me. I always thought he was just average. And I read this, and I called her up, and she said, well, I didn't mean it that way, but I didn't know you would be that successful. So I kept the press away.
So mothers are tough to please, I guess.
So what is your number one advice to a struggling...
Well, I have seen you. I've been your friend for a long time, and I've seen you in both professional and personal situations. And now, if we were negotiating my contract, you would be a killer. You're a shark. That's what you're trained to be, and you are. Well, look. But when I have dinner with you, or we're having coffee, or we're trapped on a plane together, you tell the most charming, personal, funny stories of anybody I know in the business. That's what I want Michael Eisner to do with his guests.
Not the shark side.
No, the shark side, unless you have to pull that shark side, which you always keep in reserve. So that's what you've got to remember to do, Michael. Don't make it so impersonal. Make it personal. Make them feel like, you want them to succeed. And don't spend much time with them before the interview begins, Write down, get started, do it. Let it all happen in the interview. And don't have dinner with anybody the night before like we did last night. It kills the interview. We're dying here.
We're not dying. And
no,
and thank you for coming.
All right,
really,
Michael.
Regis.
Good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
America's newest talk show. Make me proud.
Right.
Thanks.
I will.
Good luck.
Thank you.
When Conversations continues, after a long and varied career, how does Bette Midler think she'll be remembered?
I was singing in a gay bathhouse. I always say that when I die, it's going to say on my tombstone, began career at Continental Baths. That's the start of my obituary.
That's next, when Conversations with Michael Eisner returns.
This is how the world's top businesses sleep well at night, knowing their networks are safe and secure. Business made simple. Nortel. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to land.
Within the miles,
please return to your seat and make sure your carry-on bags
that lie between us, away with the sea.
Air France.
This is Paul. He backtests moving averages differently than Raj, who drags and drops nothing like Anne, who trades options a lot more often than Hal, who places conditional orders differently than George, who celebrates in his own special way. And thanks to Fidelity Active Trader Services, they all get power, price, service, no compromises. Let's go! Trading with Fidelity. Smart move.
You see a long business trip. At Franklin Templeton, we saw regional air travel rising and invested in a commuter jet manufacturer ready to take off. A smart move for our fund shareholders. Perspective like this has made Templeton a pioneer in global investing. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. Ask your advisor for a prospectus with investment goals, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
She works hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. All right.
Our money market account will work hard for your money. And our 12-month CD, so hard for it, honey. Just log on to gmacbank.com or call 866-2GM-BANK today. We'll really treat you right.
Today on Susie Orman, financial infidelity.
Translation, lies, lies, lies.
What happens when money and relationships collide?
Most of us really are financial liars.
A memorable Susie Orman special, Financial Infidelity. Today, 8 a.m. Eastern on CNBC.
With a kitchen like this, you could prepare fabulous meals, throw festive dinner parties, candlelit dinners for two. At Servewell Custom Kitchen Appliances, you'll find world-class Sub-Zero Wolf ovens, ranges, cooktops, refrigerators, and dishwashers. Servewell proudly features the entire line of Sub-Zero Wolf kitchen appliances. Sub-Zero Wolf, fabulous performance for the home. Visit our designer showroom in Glendale at 1021 Airway. Let Servewell give you the Sub-Zero Wolf custom kitchen you've always dreamed of. Servewell Custom Kitchen Appliances.
Get the specialty truck you need now at Hauser Truck Sales, your California truck source. With as many as 100 trucks on the lot, we'll make sure you have just the right truck for whatever job you need. We can even build the truck you need. Hauser Trucks specializes in cabs, dump trucks, bucket trucks, utility vehicles, and more. These are just a few of the trucks now available when you come to Hauser Truck Sales in North Hills. Call us at 800-4HAUSER. Don't wait. These trucks go fast. Call now at 800-4HAUSER.
Conversations continues now with Michael Eisner and Bette Midler.
So, Bette, I am thrilled that you're here on my show, mainly because you saved my career once, and I'm looking forward to again. Actually, and then we'll start talking about it. When I went to Disney in '84, the first person to call me was an agent saying, "You've been trying to be in business with Bette Midler for 20 years. How would you like to do Down and Out in Beverly Hills?" I came to Disney. It was the first movie that Disney made under Touchstone in the new era. First R-rated movie that Disney had ever made, with an actress who had been involved in many projects, some of which were controversial. And that, and 5 movies later, kind of turned the momentum of a dormant Disney around. So I wanted to talk about that and all the rest of it. But going to Disney for you, after having done, you know, Clams in the Half Shell and working in New York, and was that a strange move?
I was terrified, and I couldn't understand what they would see, why they wanted me. I'm thinking, because I had grown up with, you know, Bambi and Cinderella, and I was terrified. I was so.
You are Cinderella.
Well, thank you very much. I was stunned that they would want me, and I couldn't figure out what was going on over at the studio. That they would suddenly make this big turn from family. You,
please.
Excuse me, well, they meaning them.
I read a script, and actually, it was the first Desperate Housewife we'd ever read. And you playing a Beverly Hills quasi-Desperate Housewife with Nick Nolte, directed by Paul Mazursky, sounded fantastic.
Well, it came at just the right time for me because I had big success with The Rose, and I never got another job. I never got another phone call. The studio eventually called me back and said, well, we'll make a, we'll do, this was during the time of Jinxed. My second picture, I lost my manager, excuse me, I excused my manager. I left my manager as a famous Aaron Russo, who was a real, I have to say, a real light in my life. He was a very exciting person to be in business with.
He recently ran for governor of Nevada.
Yes, he's a fearless kind of guy.
Got a documentary about to come out about how you don't have to pay your taxes.
That sounds right.
I've seen it.
I was in a lot of very exciting police chases with him.
Do you know
those were great days.
You know, he said he was going to kill me?
I heard rumblings of that. What's
to go
that
back
story?
about 30 years or 20 years, when I was in New York at ABC, a man comes into my office and says, there's a woman singing in the bathhouses in New York who ABC has to make a deal with. He said, will you have a meeting? I said, great. What I didn't know was the manager of this up-and-coming actress, Bette Midler, and I shouldn't be talking here, but now you're interviewing me, but whatever. So I had an apartment for rent in a building I owned. And Aaron Russo came and saw it, and I rented it to him. And that night, I lay in bed with my wife, because I asked him as he left what he did for a living, and he said he managed rock groups. And my wife and I discussed it, and we decided it was a mistake. And I called him the next day, and I said to him, Mr. Russo, I decided against it. I can't do it. He said, please, I beg you, let me come back again. He had this beautiful little blonde wife who was so sweet, and they came back, and they loved the wood-burning fireplace, and I rented it to him again. That night, I went back to bed with my wife. We discussed that he had rock groups. We said it was a mistake. I called him the next day and said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And he said, obviously kidding, I'm going to kill you. So now it's 2 years later. We have a meeting about Bette Midler, this actress in the Baths, and halfway through the meeting, he points to me and he says, "You're the one." And I said, "Yes, I am." And he got up and walked away, and everybody else in the room said, "What was that all about?" And then I could never make a deal with you.
I never worked for you. Never.
No,
worked.
I couldn't get the roles?
No.
Tell me about the bathhouses.
Let me explain to you. I was a starving actress. I wasn't exactly starving. I had a job in Fiddler on the Roof. I started actually off Broadway with Tom Eyen. I was his house person. He came to me with all his scripts. I was his leading lady for a couple of years. And because I had been with Tom Eyen all those years, I was very used to, I was very used to gay people. I thought I loved them. I had no problem with them. So I was in Fiddler, and I could not get another job. I would go on all these auditions. Could not get another job. Too short, too fat, too tall, too small, too white, too blonde, too whatever it was. I was always wrong. And so when this gentleman called me. He had been my teacher at the Berghoff studio. And he said, "There's a man who called me. He's looking for an act." I said, "Well, I have a little bit of an act. I have like 20 minutes. He said, "Well, it's in a gay bathhouse. Do you have any problem with that?" I said, "I had no idea what a gay bathhouse was." "Oh, no, I have no problem." After he told me what it paid, which was $300, I mean, I was like,
what?
$300 for the weekend. I was so excited. I mean, it's $300. That was a lot of money in those days, because I was working for Fiddler for $225 a week, 8 shows. So this was $300 for 2 shows. I mean, I thought I'd struck it rich. I didn't even think about gay bathhouses. I said, "Let me at him." So I went with my best friend, who was a hairdresser, who was a gay guy, who was Mr. Gerard, and he was a fabulously, famously funny man. And when I told him that I was going to do this, he said, "Let me write you some lines." So I said, "Write me some lines." And when we opened, I had some lines to talk about the bathhouse. They were so stunned that I knew what was going on. They were so thrilled that anybody knew their culture that I suddenly was like their pet. And I didn't work there that long, but I made such an impression on the world at large because I was singing in a gay bathhouse that, I mean, I always say that when I die, it's going to say on my tombstone, "Began career at Continental Baths." That's the start of my obituary.
Johnny Carson found you there.
He did.
David Frost?
Yes. Oh, well, yes. I started doing all those shows. I did Merv Griffin, Steve Allen, David Frost, Mike Douglas. You had to go to Philly. Never been to Philly. I mean, I was on my way, and I was terribly, terribly excited. And really, they were the ones who sent me on my way.
But you moved from Hawaii to New York.
At 19.
By yourself?
By myself, basically by myself. I landed in San Francisco with a good friend of mine, and we started a road trip. And by the time we got to New Orleans, I'd had enough. And so I took a plane from New Orleans to New York, and my relatives from New Jersey met me. I stayed a week with them, and then I moved into the Broadway Central, which collapsed a year or 2 later.
The thing fell down?
It just fell down, as buildings in New York often do. And not with me in it, but I had by that time I had made some contacts. I had a little job at Stearns selling gloves, and I was basically, and I was only 19, and my daughter's 19 now, and she says, "I cannot believe," she's in college, "I cannot believe that you came by yourself to New York City in 1965 and with nobody, and you began a career." And I say, I guess times were different. Things were very different.
I moved too. I went from 89th Street to 65th Street in Manhattan.
With a passport?
I thought that was the biggest move of my life. I mean, for the first time, I was doing my own laundry. You moved from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Were your parents like upset about this?
No, my parents, I think, were.
Glad to get rid of you?
My dad cried when I got on the plane. He cried, and I realized then that it was a generation. That was a generation that didn't really. They weren't overly emotional. They were very stoic, and they never showed their feelings. So when he cried, I realized, gee, I really meant something to the guy. Because up until then, I wasn't so sure.
But wasn't Hawaii in the 60s really feel isolated? Today, it's because of satellite television and all that. It's not as isolated.
It's not as isolated. I gather that it was. The films didn't come for a year or 2 later.
So did you learn the hula before?
I did. I studied the hula. My mother insisted that all the girls study the hula. So we went down to even though my sister wanted to study ballet, my mother said, "You're going to hula." So we went to hula. We went once a week for years. And I still have all my records, and I can still do it, although I don't remember the stories as clearly as I ought.
Did that help you play the eldest daughter in Fiddler?
Not even a little. Not even this
Jewish,
much. But
mid-European dance is not similar?
No. And in fact, when I see sometimes the tapes from that show, I think, I can't believe I got that job. Oh, my word. But I guess they saw something in me that I mean, I really wanted to be in that show. I thought it was one of the most beautiful shows I'd ever seen. In fact, it was the most beautiful show I'd ever seen.
And when the person came to my office and talked about you and the Bears, and then said you were the eldest daughter and fiddler, I did go, and it only made me more interested. If I'd only given Aaron that apartment, who knows what could have happened.
What could have happened to me? I would have had a career.
As Conversations continues, more from Bette Midler.
Were you a piece of work? Were you a lot difficult?
I don't know if I was difficult. I was probably difficult because I was very ambitious and I didn't have any other interests, which is not good, not really healthy.
Conversations continues in a moment.
He volunteered.
We were drafted.
She enlisted.
And off we went to Asia, to Europe.
The Gulf. To do our duty.
Serve our country. We were buddies.
Shipmates. Best of friends.
I'll never forget his courage.
Her dedication.
The way he made you laugh.
And I'll remember him.
Remember her?
I'll remember them. Always.
There's a place where you can get to know some of the most famous names in the investing business, where you can meet the elite, including some of the best and the brightest. At E-Trade Financial, be starstruck.
24/7 access, simple process, and great home equity rates. That's why people who use eLoan are getting the message around. Those are just some of the revolutionary ways we're changing the lending industry. eLoan, radically simple.
You don't just step out on the South African grasslands one afternoon and decide. This is where a telecom provider will expand their mobile network. You've got to accurately read global trends to know how to make them work for your customers. That's what Emerson does. We anticipate our customers' technology needs so that when they're ready,
hi, we've been waiting.
We're ready. Are you? Emerson, consider it solved.
Stock and option exchanges are competing for your next order. Is your broker taking maximum advantage? Interactive Broker's smart order routing system reacts instantly to changing prices within a complex web of exchange rules. Smart routing plus ultra-low commissions will make a dramatic impact on your trading results. The Interactive Broker's smart router. After 6 years of evolution, intelligent design that even Darwin could appreciate. Interactive Brokers. Options, stocks, futures, ETFs, Forex, bonds, worldwide.
Dell Media Center PCs let you enjoy and share your digital photos. Download pictures from your digital camera. View or play them as a slideshow. Print and share with family and friends, all at the touch of a button. Create and enjoy your memories with the Dimension E310 with Windows XP Media Center Edition, a free 15-inch flat panel upgrade, and free shipping and handling for just $4.99. It's more than a picture-perfect PC. It's a Dell.
Take it easy. Kramer's your man of leisure when it comes to turning rest and relaxation into mad money. Tonight, 6, 9, and midnight Eastern on CNBC.
Car trouble? You should call Jason's Honda in Accra. He's been serving the foothill communities for over 12 years. With honesty and integrity, all his mechanics are factory trained, and they use only genuine Honda and Accra parts. And there's free pickup and delivery. And what else? He's my dad.
Jason's Honda Acura, your dealership alternative.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 people need a new mattress? Hi, I'm Neil from the Leeds Mattress Stores, and I want to take out the confusion of buying your next new mattress. You've seen Sealy including Posturepedics advertised elsewhere at $5.99. I'll show you the same mattress in my store for only $3.99. Leeds will make your financing easy, and all of our mattress sets include frame and delivery. So come see me or call Neil with the deal at the Leeds Mattress Stores. I won't be beat. Call 1-800-GO-LEEDS for a store near you.
As Conversations continues, more with Michael Eisner and Bette Midler.
Were you a piece of work? Were you a lot difficult?
I don't know if I was difficult. I was probably difficult because I was very ambitious and I didn't have any other interests, which is not good, not really
you
healthy.
weren't difficult at Disney at all.
No, by that time I had been so beaten up that I was like, I was a desperate housewife. I was playing a part for real. After Jinx, which really, I was so beaten up during Jinx, and everybody on that set hated me, and I couldn't figure out why.
This was after the Rose.
This was after the Rose.
But you were like an Academy Award nominated.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, how outrageous.
I was so stunned that that's how it worked.
Right. Well, it doesn't. Everybody's not that way. You've since learned.
Other female stars have told me that this is the way it works. You have to have a certain level of appeal to the powers that be, you know. And everyone is not.
I was a power that.
And I appealed to you, and so thank God. So when you called me, I was probably sobbing my heart out, because I had been put through the ringer in the press over Jinxed, and I thought, well, this is the end. I'm never going to work again. And then this great phone call came, and Paul Mazursky was so kind, and it was like the $500 special. It was me, and it was Nick Nolte, and it was Richard Dreyfuss, and it was as if everyone was out of rehab, out of some kind of terrible disgrace. And you were giving everyone, like, you know, $1.25 to work, you know, to get their lives back together. And basically, really, everybody did. Everyone really went on from that picture to make, you know, to have big careers and to sort of organize themselves.
I never failed with any of those three people before that or after that. Nick Nolte had done Rich Man, Poor Man,
yes,
all that stuff.
Yes,
Richard
he's
Dreyfuss.
Sensational actor, another sensational actor. And everyone was on their best behavior. Well, not exactly.
Now, during this period, you weren't performing like you did on Clams in the Half show.
I stopped doing live shows. Once I started in pictures with you guys, I basically stopped doing live shows.
There was a piece of Clams where you come out with King Kong.
Yes.
And I called up after I saw it.
You did not. You did? I knew it.
I called up Barry Diller at Paramount. I was at ABC.
And said, get King Kong.
And then he didn't answer me. He never said anything, which is not unusual. And then I called Sid Sheinberg at Universal and said, how about King Kong? And they both started making it and ended up suing each other and finally becoming partners. All out of seeing you coming out of Fay Wray. Being there like Fay Wray. So you spanned a whole kind of era from the 60s and the kind of Vietnam, late 60s, early 70s, the drug culture, the coming out of that into the kind of the 80s, the Disney culture, as you will, the mother culture, the turning your back on the drug culture, then the philanthropic culture. I mean, you have actually, a movie about you, no, but a movie about you has everything you'd want. It has the arc, it has the revelation of character, it has the experience, the love interest, the old boyfriend who goes nuts. I mean, it has everything. But you
please don't make a movie of my life. Please swear to me. Swear to me.
Well, see, we made Stella.
Oh, Stella, that was the turning point. See, that's when I wound up in the, excuse my French, that's when I wound up not doing, that was the turning point. That's when I realized it was not going to go well. Because I made Beaches, which was an enormous success, and it was an enormous success for women. Women loved that movie. It was a woman's picture, and I remember so clearly.
By the way, I should have listened to you, because you came to me and said, call it Wings, Wind Beneath My Wings.
Did I say that?
Yes. Why are you calling it Beaches?
Well,
I
made
this whole case why it should be called Beaches.
I remember that.
You were right. You were right. But I want to go back to this. How you were able, which a lot of people aren't, is to put the past kind of behind you, as we say in Lion King.
Very well. You know, I had a partner who was a sensational person. Her name was Bonnie Bruckheimer, and I loved her. We parted company, but one of the things that I took with me when we left was her motto, which was, we hold a grudge. So it's not like, the face of it is that I've forgotten, but truly, there are some psychic insults that are so severe that you really don't forget. You know, you kind of like don't tell everybody, but you're still like, And I'm afraid I'm one of those people. I am. I do remember. And that's a problem. I think that comes from my family. The best of times, when I really stop and think about it, the grudges are always with you. But the best of times, they have a tendency to dissipate. And you really do have to pull them back in order to go on.
The one thing that you probably don't hear and you should recognize is that there is, in show business, there is business. Otherwise, as Woody Allen said, it would be show. And the effect that you had on the bottom line of Disney, the effect that you had on turning around the perception of a company, of creating a non-Disney brand, was enormous. And what most people don't understand is these companies, even big Disney, only are as good as the content. Just like an automobile company is only as good as the new car, which seems to be a problem today. And I would say your vitality and your spirit, and I think you know this, but I'm not sure you know the impact it had on the bottom line. Or you probably heard it, but it's there. And
thank you very much.
I mean, we don't talk about that much.
You enriched my bottom line too, don't forget.
Well, no, we all did fine.
Yeah, we did.
But there are there are 120,000 employees at Disney and millions of shareholders. And you're just doing a movie. You think you're just doing a movie, then you're doing another movie, you're doing an album. And this is very American.
Yes.
It's not done anywhere else in the world. And I think people do appreciate that. Anyway.
Well, thank you very much.
I loved having you here.
Oh, that's
I could go on
kind
for
of you, so
100
kind.
hours.
I could too.
Thank you, Bette.
Thank you, and thanks for everything.
When Conversations returns on May 25th, meet the new boss at Disney. Bob Iger, Michael's protege and successor, talks about the challenges he's facing as the new CEO at Disney. And on an upcoming Conversations, he's outspoken and controversial. Religious broadcaster Pat Robertson talks about business, faith, and politics. That's coming up on Conversations with Michael Eisner.
Conversations with Michael Eisner is brought to you by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group. Make it happen.
On tonight's Square Off.
Most of them, they go through rough times because it's a tough narcotic. That's a narcotic of fame and wealth.
The one good thing about a serial, and particularly on their production schedule, if it doesn't work, you can put all the characters on a bus and drive it off a cliff.
Hi, I'm Andy Wallenstein.
And I'm Brian Lowry, and welcome to Square Off.
Brian, another season come and gone, and another season of just dominance is almost an understatement out of the Fox hit American Idol. And I want to just pick apart this phenomenon for a bit because, frankly, I don't understand it. I mean, aren't we really talking about something that's just a big budget karaoke show, and yet it just mows down all competitors, the Olympics, the Grammys, everything gets crushed by this show. What is this show's mojo, and how do the other networks steal it?
I really am somewhat mystified myself, but it's become an institution now. I mean, there really are 3 television seasons. There's the fall season, there's American Idol season, which starts in January and goes through May, and then there's the summer.
Yeah.
And it's split the television season in half, and it's mowing down anything that gets in its way. And really, the biggest question is this phenomenon going to slow it all, and what, if anything, can the other networks do to slow it down? And I really think the way Fox has programmed it with, we bring it back once a year, it's an event, I think this thing's got a lot of gas left in the tank.
Absolutely, and I'm surprised that other networks haven't learned the lesson of patience and timing. I mean, look at so many other reality shows, Survivor, for example, where CBS is just running the wheels off this thing. 2 cycles every year, and that show actually holds up very well. But there's so many others, The Apprentice, Biggest Loser, where they get used too much and they die. And, another thing you get when you talk to these networks, though, is there's such a defeatist attitude when they talk about Idol. It's like, yeah, we're going to roll over and let it ram it down our throats. And I think, and wouldn't you agree, they've got to really get their game on.
I don't know how you get your game on, frankly. I mean, I think American Idol so far has laid waste to just about everything that's been thrown at it, comedies, dramas. The only network that really holds up reasonably well against it is CBS, and that's because they skew somewhat older.
True.
So, they hope that some of their audience falls asleep in front of the set and it registers with Nielsen. But, I mean, I might take the the alternative approach, which is instead of we have to go at American Idol, I would say, you know, short of having a guy sit there and play the cello, which would be a cheap way to counter
Right.
it, take some just flights of fancy against it.
Yes.
Put on some low-cost shows. Put on some shows that are short-term runs that you don't have a huge investment in, and see if you can steal a little bit of its thunder. But what's really a mistake is to throw big sitcoms and big dramas that are expensive up against it just to have it decimate them.
Absolutely. And, you know, I would agree it's time to see more experimentation out of the networks. And what better time to do that, really, than the summer?
Obviously, the television business has changed. And the idea of putting on original programming year-round, I can see the logic behind that. But frankly, if you're going to put on really cut-rate reality shows, rerun Desperate Housewives, rerun Grey's Anatomy.
But Brian, I'm not going to settle for reruns. I think we've seen the network talk enough talk about year-round programming. They need to, if they're going to so-called keep the lights on, they better up the wattage. It's time to get some real investing in there because, you know what? Cable has caught on, and they've been doing some incredibly successful shows in recent years. And I'll tell you, there's some things I'm really looking forward to. Entourage coming back to HBO this summer. TNT's got The Closer, and they're going to be launching a new show off of that called Saved. Comedy Central, Sarah Silverman. There's a lot to be excited about on cable.
Well, and that's one of the reasons the network strategy is a little bit questionable, because you really are, the cable networks have seized on the summer and said, we're going to use the summer as our playground. I really think the networks are missing an opportunity to take their programming and play with it a little bit. You know, do DVD commentaries, have people, stars come in and host a night of programming, do a contest and show episodes of Lost, and you can phone in and vote about, you know, what the gimmick was within that episode. I really think that they could get more mileage out of their programming without wasting, and I do think it's wasting, the money on some of these summer reality shows.
I agree, and when the summer's over, we'll check back and see how they did. But when we come back, we're going to talk to the star of the CBS drama Numbers, Rob Morrow.
I mean, I had really interesting heavyweights coming up to me, the Ron Myers and David Geffens and these big-time, you know, entertainment people saying this is a great show.
Hi there, this is Larry Hagman, and you're watching TV Guide.
I mean, I don't know anyone in my game who's got a really good relationship.
Donnie, it can't be true.
Well, it is. I mean, I tell you stuff that you don't know the half of it, trust me.
How come I don't find that comforting?
It's hard. You come home and someone says, how was your day? And you're like, well, I saw a decapitated kid. How was yours?
Well, I mean, if you can't talk about it, how are you going to feel any better than you do now? Which is why there is nobody at home waiting for you.
Look, even when I could have had good relationships, I screwed them up.
What does that mean? You're damned if you do and damned if you don't?
Yeah.
Our next guest is the star of the CBS drama Numbers, one of many memorable roles he's had on both TV and film over the years. Welcome, Rob Morrow, to Square Off.
Thanks, guys.
So I think the interesting thing that a lot of people probably don't know is that you do a fair amount of work behind the camera as well. You even just directed an episode of Numbers.
Right. Yeah. I've been directing for a number of years now. When I was last few years, I actually wasn't doing too much acting. I was just directing episodic TV.
Is it tough as an actor, as you're known primarily, to even get that work?
Not so much now because I have the film, to show what I can do. So I can get the work. It's satisfying in a different
mindset.
Yeah.
Well, when you before Numbers, you actually did a show for Showtime called Street Time, which was really, and you did some directing on that as well.
I did, yeah.
But it was a really kind of dark, sort of interesting, very layered show that probably it was one of those shows that obviously isn't for everybody. And coming back to do Numbers, was there a thought that it wasn't going to be as much of a challenge as that character had been?
Yeah, a little bit. That was a heartbreak for me, that show, because I loved it. I loved everything about it. The whole way we made it. It was this guy Mark Levin was the director and kind of co-creator with Richard Stratton, who is a writer who lived the life of my character, who was an ex-drug dealer who was in prison for 8 years, and their whole approach was like, run-and-gun filmmaking, but applying it to television. And I had a great time doing that. I was frustrated with the process at the time of trying to get people to see it, because it was, I think, arguably, I mean, I had really interesting heavyweights coming up to me, the Ron Myers and David Geffens and these big-time, you know, entertainment people saying this is a great show, and yet sitting at a dinner table with an A-list TV writer and saying, what are you up to? I'm saying, well, I'm doing this series now. I've done 30 episodes called Street Time, and they're like, I never heard of it. And you'd be like, never heard? I can understand never seeing it, but to never have heard of it. So I definitely thought, when I was looking again, I thought A, I want to do a genre piece, you know, because I wanted to get something that would last a little while, and B, I wanted to go on to the networks where I knew, you know, if they wanted to get behind something, they didn't have to, you know, steal money from somewhere else, which is what Showtime was doing at the time. They have a different model in place now. So
yeah, your timing was rough, because that was when Showtime was just kind of getting a foot into those series, and now they've really made a big push into it.
Right. I think we were really caught between the transitional politics, and it was a heartbreak.
But now you're on Numbers, which is a very traditional kind of crime show, and I'm just wondering, is it difficult as an actor to feel like you're doing the full flavor of a character on a show where, you know, the forensics and the mystery tends to take center stage?
That's the challenge. And, you know, to the credit of the people behind the show, Barry Schindel, the executive producer, Nick Falacci and Cheryl Houghton, who created it, they're very interested in growing the characters. And I think we're at a good time in terms of the networks are seeing that these shows, these procedural shows, the crime drama it needs a kind of quantum, you know, leap. Something has to happen, and I think the kind of hybrid approach is having a lot of appeal, and that's exciting to me, because it does become you have to really work hard to make those procedural scenes have life.
Yeah.
And the family scenes, oddly enough, are easy with the emotionals, because you just have to be a person sitting there, and they're a relief when I get to do them on the show, because it just offsets the other in a nice way.
Well, we're going to talk a bit more about that, but we're going to be right back after this.
What's perfect is, you know, most of the time I'm just sitting there saying, huh? Say that again, or explain that, you know, which is great, because I don't, you know, understand half of it.
Welcome back to Square Off. We're talking to Rob Morrow. Rob, on Numbers, math, strangely enough, is a big part of the show. I mean, how do you actually learn more about this as you do it?
You know, I don't have to learn a lot of the math, but it's interesting. Some of the concepts that the math underlies, the physics concepts and stuff, I end up getting piqued and will go look up and read a little about. But the math, as you know, I don't have to. What's perfect is, you know, most of the time I'm just sitting there saying, huh? Say that again, or explain that, you know, which is great, because I don't, you know, understand half of it.
But you don't really have to understand.
I know, I'm perfectly cast in that regard. I don't have to, and I don't. But I do have a great, you know, I do love math, more in what it, you know, as it applies to other disciplines, but I do love math.
When you first came to the show and they explained to you the whole concept, were you a bit skeptical that this would be?
I was dubious, yeah. I thought, I couldn't imagine how, who would be interested, you know, that math would actually have the appeal that it does,
right?
And B, that it could franchise as well as it did. But I met, you know, and what it would look like. But that was, you know, when I met with Ridley and Tony, that was a no-brainer, because I knew it would look great and cool and interesting, which is a big part of, I think, what you have to be to distinguish yourself on TV now is you have to have a look. And so I knew we'd have that. And then I sat with Nick and Cheryl, and they told me they had 37 ideas at that moment, you know, and I was like, okay, you know, I mean, if they had, that was without a writing team, and I got excited about it. I didn't know it would work until I saw. Somehow I knew it when we were shooting the pilots during some of the dailies that we had something that we would get a shot. I didn't know it would be a success.
Now, you mentioned Ridley and Tony. That's Ridley and Tony Scott, who are both obviously well-known directors. Oftentimes you get big directors involved in these projects early, and then, you know, you get a sense they go off and they're doing movies. Are they involved with the show on a regular basis?
Yeah, they still are. I don't know if that'll wane or not, but you know, Ridley's really they're involved more in the finishing of the the pieces, you know, the episodes. They're very much involved in the aesthetics. They're not involved in the minutia and the day-to-day, but they'll be involved in any kind of, you know, major casting. You know, Ridley will come walking through the set just every once in a blue moon, and he'll be like, paint it red, and, you know. and you know, what's wild is he's right, and that's what, for me, it's a great opportunity, because he does come make these little subtle shifts in color tone or something, and it has a better look.
You know, we've got to ask you about Northern Exposure, of course. I mean, do you still get recognized for that role?
Oh yeah, every day. I mean, yeah.
And I mean, it's so different worlds away from what Numbers is like.
Right.
I mean, do you miss doing that kind of acting, that sort of quirky show?
You know, I do miss the comedy. I really am hungry to do a comedy. Because it's a lighter day, you know. I mean, it's just there's a certain amount. Even if you kind of we joke around a lot at work, but still you're dealing with corpses and dead bodies and murder plots and all this, you know, horrific stuff. And you know, Northern Exposure was a kind of existential comedy.
I mean, do you ever wish you could inject that kind of levity even into Numbers? Would that work?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we do. I try to inject levity into as much as possible. And we succeed, and you know, I mean, it's not a comedy, but we definitely have humorous moments, and I'm really conscious of that for sure.
We'll be right back after this with Rob Morrow.
I know that world really well, in that when I was a young actor, the Matt Dillons of the world, Robert Downeys of the world, we're little baby movie star millionaires.
It's Idol Finale Week, and TV Guide is your guide to everything Idol. Watch TV Guide channel for Idol Tonight with Kimberly and Rosanna. See Idol interviews and live red carpet Idol finale coverage. Plus, pick up your copy of TV Guide magazine, featuring a sizzling American Idol cover story with tons of behind-the-scenes scoops. TV Guide, your guide to everything Idol.
When the elements of nature blend, they create green. A green that's refreshing. A green that's rich in protective antioxidants and blended with citrus for a great taste. Lipton Green Tea. It's green tea redefined. Lipton tea can do that.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ooh. I got fruit spread on my Philly. Ooh, I got Philly on my fruit spread.
Introducing Philadelphia Jam and Swirls. Philly swirled with real fruit spread for 2 great tastes in one.
This is a great idea.
Yeah, I wonder how they came up with it. New Philadelphia Jam and Swirls. A little taste of heaven.
When Gabby started shedding a lot, I figured we'd be seeing a lot more of her archenemy, the vacuum. But then my vet said,
shedding can be a sign of poor nutrition.
who knew shedding could be so serious?
For the health of your cat, I recommend Hill's Science Diet Adult. It has a precise balance of 50 nutrients, including powerful antioxidants for a stronger immune system, and a healthy difference you can see.
Gabby.
Enter into grown-up life.
The Weatherman, rated R. Check your on-screen guide to rent with your remote today.
Welcome back to Square Off. We're talking to Numbers star Rob Morrow. Rob, I mean, you've done directing. Is there any other shows out there on television that you would probably like to take a...
Yeah, I mean, Sopranos for sure. Huff, I've been offered twice and have not been able to clear my schedule. I'm a fan of that show. And Entourage is the one I'm actively pursuing.
Really?
I don't know if it's going to happen or not because I have a limited window.
What about Entourage?
Entourage I love because I know that world really well. In that when I was a young actor, the Matt Dillons of the world, Robert Downeys of the world, were little baby movie star millionaires. You know, I mean, it was crazy. They were really young, and they were, you know, they had a lot of money and a lot of fame, and I rode on their coattails here and there. I just feel like I know that world.
Because you lived it.
I did. I mean, a bit, yeah, for sure.
Well,
and it's interesting. It's fun. I think they've really stepped up that show. I thought the first season, the writing was it was a world I was kind of curious about, even though it's my own. But the characters weren't as strong. And then the second year, they really kicked in with figuring out what to do with the movie star kid. You know, to give him the problem of love, which is a perfect movie star, because that's the problem movie stars have, is love, because they have no time. You know, they can't be anywhere.
Right. But you talk about it. I mean, being in your early 20s and having money like that. I think that, you know, Hollywood and maybe athletes is really the only place where you're faced with dealing with that.
It's so, I mean, and you know, I mean, Matt's doing okay and Robert's doing okay, but Robert had a rough time, obviously. But most of them, you know, they go through rough times because it's a tough narcotic. That's a narcotic of fame and wealth.
How are you yourself able to avoid their trap?
Well, you know, I got those things when I was older, and I did fall into some of the traps, but I was never that bad. But it's tough. There's no training for it. I mean, unless you come from money, I guess, which I don't. Unless you're famous or you come from a famous family.
Was there anything in particular that, you know, sort of saved you, so to speak, that gave you the perspective to keep things sober?
I think figuring, like, however it is that I have to do what I do the way I do, both as a director as an actor, it takes a lot of discipline. So falling in love with that, probably.
The craft.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's great about TV, even though there's a panging for the movies, for the scope of movies, both as a director and as an actor, the TV, it's like I feel like an artisan. I go there, I build my table, I make it the best table I can, and I know how to do that. And there's something really rewarding about that.
Well, we appreciate you coming by to square off. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks.
Television, by and large, looks the same no matter where you go, and it's too bad.
We say what you're thinking about.
Welcome back to Square Off. You know, the word legend gets overused a little bit in television, but Fred Silverman really does fit that bill. He headed programming at CBS, ABC, and NBC during an 11-year period from 1970 to 1981, and then went on to produce such shows as Matlock, Perry Mason, and In the Heat of the Night. Fred, thanks for joining us. 25 years since you were last actually in that entertainment hot seat. Almost impossible to make comparisons now, but is anything really still analogous about the business then, when you had only 3 networks and they had 85–90% of the audience, and what the business really looks like today?
Basically, there's a lot that's the same.
How so?
Well, you're dealing with basically the same program forms. I mean, there are dramas that are hours, and half-hour comedies, and there was even some reality programming back in those days.
Real people.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, with all the channels and everything, not that much has changed. I think one of the problems with television today is that it's so derivative. You know, you turn on any given night and there are half a dozen enforcement procedural shows, and television by and large looks the same no matter where you go, and it's too bad.
You know, one thing that from your time running those networks, family programs were such a big deal. Walton's, 8 is Enough. I feel like we don't see those kind of shows as much today. I mean, do you think there's a reason for that?
I frankly am as confused as you are. That there aren't more shows like that.
He's pretty confused, too. So.
No, I am confused because whenever somebody does put a show like that on the air, it seems like the audience flocks to it. And I think it would be good business to schedule more shows like that.
But is there any truth to the notion that nowadays the way families watch is apart? Junior's off in one room, Dad's in another room. I mean, is that kind of viewing pattern conducive to the family drama?
I don't think it makes any difference whether they view it together or they view it individually. I think that there are elements in those shows that would appeal to parents, you know, their children, you know, whether they're viewing it together or in different rooms.
And we'll be back with Fred Silverman.
You know, there's a risk in anything. When you put a new show on the air, it doesn't work, then you're stuck.
And we're back with producer and executive Fred Silverman. You've talked, I know for a while you were very interested in getting serialized programming on and thought that really 52-week original programming like they do in daytime was what they should be doing in primetime. And now all the networks are talking about doing telenovelas, which would run, 13, 16, run continuously. Do you think this is a step forward, and do you think there'll be an audience for it?
Oh, I think there'll be a big audience. I think 24 is already proving that there's an audience for a continuing storyline.
By running it from January straight through
Yeah,
May.
but it is a serial. It's an action serial, but it's a serial. And the telenovelas have certainly proved it on Hispanic television. And I think that Fox, with their new network, my network TV, will certainly make the point in the fall. They're running 2 shows, Secrets and Desires,
right,
in prime time from 8 to 10 o'clock with a recap on Saturday, and I think it's going to be a sleeper success.
Isn't that a challenge though? What if one of those shows goes on and it tanks? I mean, and then you're stuck with 13 weeks, 5 nights a week of the same show. I
don't know whether they're that far ahead in the taping. The one good thing about a serial, and particularly on their production schedule, where they're virtually doing a show a day, is if it doesn't work, you can put all the characters on a bus and have them drive it off a cliff, as they've done many times before on radio, and introduce a new character who gets off another bus, and you're into a new storyline. So there's a risk in anything. When you put a new show on the air, it doesn't work, then you're stuck. But I think with serials, you have an opportunity to change midstream pretty quickly, particularly if they're shot on tape and they're doing 1 a day.
So as you look at the landscape today, what advice would you give the people who are sitting in the programming suites that you think they may not be following?
I would give most of the people in those jobs the advice of really swinging for the fences, to try new things and not fall back on the tried and true.
And we'll be back with television producer Fred Silverman.
Television is crying out for programming like All in the Family.
Right.
It really addresses the real world.
And we're back with producer and executive Fred Silverman. Fred, in the last couple of years, you've seen these dramatic swings in the performance of the networks, where ABC was as low as they could be, and they put on a couple of shows, and they're back. Fox has just exploded with American Idol. Does it seem that it's more tumultuous now in terms of one show being able to change things than back when you were running the networks?
It's always been that way. The network television business is very volatile. And a couple of shows can really change the standings very, very quickly.
Fred, All in the Family. Do you think a show that politically charged could even be on broadcast television nowadays?
I don't know whether it could, but it should. It should be on. My contention is that television is crying out for programming like All in the Family.
Right.
It really addresses the real world. And I think it should be done in comedy and drama. And it's a shame that, shows that got on the air in the 70s probably couldn't get on the air now. There should be programming like that on the air. And my contention is the first network that puts a show like All in the Family on, that people talk about the next day, that deals with the kind of subject matter that The Daily Show deals with, will have a major hit on their hands.
So the problem with the sitcom is not multi-cameras and a couch. The problem, you think, really is the content of the shows.
Absolutely. I think the content is deplorable. I think it's just awful.
Because of the sameness, or
It's bland. It's when I think of what network comedy was, you know, back in the 70s, you know, when shows like All in the Family and Maude and MASH and Soap were on the air, and I look at the state of comedy today, it's tragic. I mean, it really is. You know, when they point to a show like The Office, which is a nice show, I mean, I think it's a nice little show, but it's not in the same league with the shows that I just referred to. And it has nothing to do with 3 camera, 1 camera. It has to do with content. It has to do with whether they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's start off with the basic of comedy, that if you put a show on, it has to be funny.
Well, Fred, thank you for coming in and spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. And we know that if they pull a bus up outside the studio, that we're in big trouble.
All right.
So, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Fred. Don't get me wrong. Compared to most of what Comedy Central had on before it, it's masterpiece theater.
You turn on the TV, what is on? Where is it? Where are all these channels? You need TV Guide.
Welcome back to Square Off. Time to check in with viewer email. We got one from Aaron Michaels of Philadelphia, who wants to know about, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, the Colbert Report. Is it a worthy companion to The Daily Show on Comedy Central? And Brian, I am a huge fan of this show. I think some nights it's better than The Daily Show. What do you think?
Well, I'm a huge fan of The Daily Show. I'm a big fan of Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
But I think the Colbert Report is a tough concept. I mean, I think the problem is he's really playing a character. He's
Yes.
playing a Bill O'Reilly type character.
That's what I love.
Exactly, but it's very tough to sustain that. The Daily Show has all the world to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
Colbert is really making fun of a very specific genre of television, and it's a little more limited. And some of the interviews, frankly, with the newsmakers, I wince at.
Really?
I mean, they're a little uncomfortable for me.
I could not disagree more. I see what you're saying, but I think Colbert is such a great talent that if there's anyone who can make what is admittedly kind of a one-note programming strategy work, it's him. I have been a fan of this guy even before The Daily Show. I don't know, were you a fan of Strangers with Candy?
Yes.
The short-lived
Yeah.
Comedy Central show I thought was genius. He just has such a great deadpan humor. I think he could do anything.
Well, I think he's an immensely talented guy, and I think the show, it's a credit to him that the show is as good as it is. But the question was, is it a worthy companion to The Daily Show?
Well, first of all, you look at the ratings, it definitely is. I mean, do you remember what they used to have on at 11:30 with Colin Quinn?
Right. Well, they've gone, don't get me wrong, compared to most of what Comedy Central had on before it, it's masterpiece theater.
Yes.
But if the question is it a worthy companion to The Daily Show? Worthy maybe, but if The Daily Show is up here, I'd put the Colbert Report about here.
I'd be about right here. I think it's dead even. Great show.
Well, at least we're not doing the whole Hollywood size thing, so we'll keep it like this.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, if there's any other questions you have, email us, squareoff@tvguide.com. That's all the time we have for this week. Stay tuned for another edition of Square Off next week.
There's such great concepts on that show. I watched the other
Are
night.
you a fan of The Sopranos?
I'm a huge fan, yeah. And the other night, that moment where they're sewing Tony Soprano up, and the doctor looks in and glibly says, I think I see Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
I agreed to come down to the studio to do some promos, but not to really be on TV Water Cooler.
No, but you said you would.
Yeah. You can't prove that.
Actually, I beg to differ with you, sir. We have the tape.
Sure, I'll go on TV Water Cooler. No, I want that tape.
No.
Raleigh! Don't! Welcome to TV Water Cooler.
Must-see musicians. Billy? Tony, nearly every year since 1990, Sting and his friends have held a concert to benefit his Rainforest Foundation Fund. Getting a ticket is tough enough. Getting into rehearsals is next to impossible. Thankfully, only next to impossible.
It's sort of surreal there, seeing James Taylor performing Going to Carolina, and there's Sting singing alongside. You guys must be having a ball.
We are. In a room the size of a high school classroom, Sting stood about 15 feet from James Taylor as he rehearsed.
It's a very spontaneous show. It's just kind of thrown together, and it's like walking a tightrope. I mean, I think the audience get off on the fact that we're risking our careers and our reputations.
Yeah. All throughout yesterday at SIR Studios, there was a steady stream of stars. There's Lenny Kravitz chatting with Billy Joel, and a scruffy Will Ferrell saying hello to Sting before discussing wardrobe with event organizer and Sting's wife, Trudy Styler.
Is he going to be all decked out? And
Well, I know he's wearing a red unitard, so...
No!
We have James Taylor trying on a lovely double-breasted ensemble.
James Taylor and Billy Joel both poured through racks of retro garb set up in a small room, searching for something that reflects the night's Woodstock theme.
I'm not going to do 3 costume changes. I mean, I'm not Mariah Carey or Cher. I'm just going to kind of wing it.
Everyone will be playing songs from the late 60s, so James is dusting off some of his classics and had to do a little fine-tuning with the backup singers.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina.
But you're actually, through this event, trying to save the rainforest.
The sooner people wake up, the less damage will be done.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina.
How important are William and Harry keeping you in touch with what's relevant today?
I'm sure they think they're very important. I can't keep up with all the different new bands and everything else that bob up on the scene.
The radar locks onto a royal trifecta on Sunday. Dateline will air Prince Charles, William, and Harry in their first formal interview together, all to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Prince's Trust concert.
I can't believe it is 30 years. Do you know that
30
thing?
years.
It is rather worrying. But I'm still alive.
I've never been to one of these, actually, so it's my first, and it's a great setting.
The radar zeroes in on New York City's Grand Central Station, the locale for designer Karl Lagerfeld's Chanel 2006-2007 Cruise collection, which brought out Naomi Watts, Julianne Moore, and Misha Barton. Misha also made the rounds at the Lucky Magazine suite, which was filled with designer duds and accessories. Misha has a lot more time on her hands since being killed off on last night's finale of The OC.
I was just really excited about giving everybody a good finale.
Straight ahead, Beyonce's Tom Hanks-style diet extremes.
Everyone's eating cookies, and I'm drinking literally water and cayenne pepper.
Then,
when Lincoln was shot, you were the first one there. You grabbed the immediate first interview.
he's battled with the best of them. Do any have hard feelings?
Maybe Barbara Streisand.
Do I have to put shoes on?
Leave the shoes off, Paul.
But first, graphic images she needed to see.
I was literally able to be with him.
That's next.
Access Hollywood brought to you by McDonald's.
Control Wednesday.
From New York, the greatest city in the world, it's The Late Show with David Letterman. Tonight, Martin Short and singer James Blunt. Plus Paul Schaefer and the CBS Orchestra. And now, Secretary of Getting It On, David Letterman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful weather here in New York. Isn't it a lovely, sunny spring? It was so nice today, Al Gore said, hey, this global warming's not so bad.
But don't kid yourself, global warming is no joke. Here's how serious global warming has gotten to be a big problem in the United States. In this country, global warming is so bad, we are now actually starting to warm up to Barry Bonds. Sunny out there today, too. It's so sunny. Earlier today, I saw the albino monk from the Da Vinci Code in Central Park. He was up there getting a tan. I don't know if you folks are aware of this, but the Da Vinci Code so far last weekend, in one weekend, made $77 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now maybe somebody will read the book. But it's controversial. The church is very upset because the Da Vinci Code is very controversial. They make a lot of claims. For example, one claim they make in the Da Vinci Code that Jesus was able to hold his breath for 9 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, here's some sad news. Lee Jong-wook, leader of the World Health Organization, passed away. Well, that's not setting a good example. I'm not sure. I don't know. Hey, did you hear about this? The Federal Trade Commission has ruled that oil companies are not gouging customers. That's right. They have ruled that the oil companies are not gouging customers. They say technically they're screwing customers. Technically screwing. Oh my gosh, how about that Madonna? How about that Madonna? Always something wacky going on with Madonna. And she has a brand new show, Travel Around, and at the end of the show, they put her up on a cross. They crucify Madonna. Yeah. And you think about it, well, that's not really a stretch considering all the time she's been nailed. Hello. Oh, safer, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Paul. Paulie. Thank you very much. What a tremendous show we have for you folks tonight. This is going to be one of those shows that when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to say to yourself, what? A good friend of ours and a fabulous talent, and I understand he's coming to Broadway soon.
Yeah.
Coming to Broadway soon. Oh. Martin Short, everybody.
Oh, look at that.
He has a new one-man show, Fame Becomes Me.
Yes, Fame, look at him.
Yeah. There
Isn't he cute on there?
Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen. Also on the show, great music from singer James Blunt. Back to Bedlam.
Oh, what a show.
Do me a favor, turn on the camera out there on 53rd Street. Let's go into Rupert G's Hello Delhi. Look at how beautiful it is today here in New York City. What a beautiful, lovely, wonderful day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Rupert. How's it going?
Oh, good, Dave. How are you?
You know what we're going to do tonight, Rupert?
What?
It's a little something we call Jamba Juice Theater.
Jamba Juice Theater!
You ever been into that Jamba Juice, Rupert?
Yeah, we were in there a year ago about.
Yeah, it's delicious, isn't it?
It is.
Here's what I like about the Jamba Juice, and we got a menu right here, and you can get a wide variety of tasty fruit drinks, and they put a lot of stuff in it. They put a lot of healthy chemicals go into it, and then they put a lot of wonderful nutritional additives into it, and they're all frothy and fruit flavored, and you drink one, and it couldn't be tastier, and you keep drinking it, and you keep drinking it. You get about halfway through there, and you really start to feel sick.
Oh.
Has that been your experience, Rupert?
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, in the beginning, it couldn't be tastier, and you think, hey, let's have these every year for Thanksgiving. They're so tasty. And then pretty soon you want a gurney. Am I right, Rupert? You're calling for a gurney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's what we've got to do tonight on Jamba Juice Theater.
Jamba Juice Theater!
Now, we want you to, if you can, run like a bunny over to Jamba Juice.
Okay.
Can you do that? Can you run like a bunny over to Jamba Juice?
Yeah, sure.
That's right across Broadway. Mind the lights.
Okay.
What do I say, Rupert? What do I always say?
Mind the lights.
No, I always say safety first.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you get over to the Jamba Juice, I'll rejoin you and we'll order a Jamba Juicer, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, we'll see you over there in a couple of minutes. Be very careful crossing the street.
Okay, Dave.
All right, it's Jamba Juice Theater tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This, you know, we're very lucky to have something here. It's a wonderful archaeological document. You know, in the book, The Da Vinci Code, they make the claim that Jesus was actually married to Mary Magdalene. And the Catholic Church and every church has just gone, they're just gone crazy. They just say, well, huh? Can that? No.
Yeah.
But look at this document here.
What is that?
I want to show you something.
What is that?
And I have to be very careful with this. This is something that we got from one of those Archives Are Us.
What is that?
Now here, can you see this right across the top there?
Okay.
It's very, very close in there. Mr. and Mrs. Lou Magdalene
Lou Magdalene.
and God request the honor of your presence at the wedding of their children, Mary and Jesus. 12th day, year 22, follow at the Fox Hollow Jewish Center in Great Neck, Jerusalem. Black sandals optional. Now, if this... If this document is authentic, and I have every reason to believe that it is. All right. Earlier tonight here on CBS, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it was? It was the Academy of Country Academy Music Awards Academy Show. That's right. It was the Academy of Country Music Awards Show.
Yes.
Yeah, take a look at what happened earlier.
see it.
Yeah, watch this.
Tonight, CBS presents the Academy of Country Music Awards. Gretchen Wilson, Kenny Chesney, Carrie Underwood, and Brad Paisley performed live from Las Vegas. It's country music's night to shine, which means it's most people's night to see what else is on. The Academy of Country Music Awards, only on CBS.
All right. Let's go back into, let's see if Rupert's over there at Jamba Juice. Are you at the counter, Rupert?
Yeah, I'm by the counter.
Is that the blender that I heard going on there?
That is.
Okay. All right, have you placed your order yet?
No.
Okay. Who's going to take your order?
The guy in front of me here.
Okay, are you next in line?
I am next.
Okay, well, let's get right in there because it's only an hour show.
Okay.
Oh, man, am I thirsty. Now, Rupert, you repeat everything I say. Do you mind?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, man, am I thirsty.
Oh, man, am I thirsty.
Jamba, jamba, jamba.
Jamba, jamba, jamba.
Hit me, hit me, hit me.
Hit me, hit me, hit me.
Hit me, hit me.
Hit me,
Oh,
hit me.
Daddy is thirsty.
Oh, Daddy is thirsty.
Jamba, jamba, jamba.
Jamba.
Looks like everyone's leaving, Rupert.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think we're ready here, Rupert. Place your order.
Okay, excuse me? I like a lower pineapple.
No, wait a minute. Ask him what is the Jamba-ust drink he's got.
What Jamba drink?
What is the Jamba-ust drink he has?
What's the Jamba-ust drink you have? What's the Jamba-ust drink you have? Yeah.
What will give me the most Jamba?
Well, what will give me the most Jamba?
Because I'm really thirsty.
Well, I'm really thirsty.
I'm going to drink this down like nobody's business.
I'm going to drink this down like nobody's business.
Turn around and tell that guy to stand clear. Turn around and tell that guy to stand clear.
Stand clear, please.
No, the guy right behind you.
Oh, well, stand clear. Stand clear.
All right. Rupert, have you ordered something yet?
Oh, you ordered? Yeah. Sir, can I have an Aloha pineapple?
Okay, the Aloha pineapple.
Yeah.
Tell him to step on it.
And step on it.
I got a cab waiting. I got a cab waiting.
I got a cab waiting. Got a cab waiting.
Step on it, Peppy.
Step on it, Peppy.
Oh, Jamba.
Oh, Jamba.
All right, Rupert, we'll be back when you get your drink. Tonight it's Jamba Juice Theater.
Jamba Juice.
You know, what's a very controversial topic lately is immigration. People don't know whether they should come to this country or whether they should not come to this country. They don't know whether they should leave this country or whether they should stay in this country. Should they come illegally? Should they come legally?
Yeah.
It's a hot button topic, immigration. Tonight, to kind of bring people together so it's kind of a unifying perspective on immigration, we've prepared a little something called Immigrant Success Stories. Take a look.
Arnold Schwarzenegger came to the U.S. from Austria in 1968 with no money, but with limitless ambition. In the years ahead, he conquered the bodybuilding world as well as the world of Hollywood movies. Not content with these outstanding achievements, he successfully ran for governor of California in 2003. He also did this.
You like to see that. Immigrant success stories. Boy, here's something that's going to drive people like crazy. The season finale of Lost airs tomorrow night on ABC. Are you a big fan of Lost?
Lost, well,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's a bunch of people who have no idea where they are.
Right.
And it should, I think the season finale should resolve a lot of the viewers' frustration because it's very confusing. It's very enigmatic. It exists on many, many levels, multiple layers, and as a result, it can be confusing to the viewer. But the final episode should clear things up. Take a look.
Wednesday, it's the Lost that changes everything. All your questions will be answered. If the clock in the hatch expires, will the island's mysterious electromagnetic force be unleashed? Was the crash of Flight 815 part of an elaborate experiment by the Dharma Initiative? Is everything a figment of Hurley's imagination, or does the key lie with the enigmatic Hanso Foundation and the unexplained sequence of numbers? And what the is going on? Lost, only on ABC.
I didn't know that. Doc is not here. All right, let's go back into the Jamba Juice there on Broadway. How's it going, Rupert? Did you get your drink?
Yeah, I got my drink.
Yeah, is a lot of people in the place?
No, they're all gone.
Yeah. Is it tasty?
Yeah, it's tasty.
Can you do me a favor? Tell that guy to turn off the blender.
Can you turn off the blender? Can you turn off the blender?
It's driving me nuts.
It's driving me nuts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was driving me nuts.
Thank you very much. It was driving me nuts.
I got a blinding headache. It was driving me nuts.
I got a blinding headache. It was driving me nuts.
Rupert, is this guy there? Ask him if it was bothering him. The guy right behind you. Behind you, right there. Was it driving you nuts?
Was it driving you nuts?
The blender?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you didn't tell me to turn it off, I was going to do it.
They ought to outlaw those things.
The nerve of them running a blender in this place.
Yeah. They ought to outlaw them. Rupert, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, now drink it down real fast and start screaming. Oh! 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 Oh, my brain is frozen.
My brain is frozen.
Oh, help me.
Help me.
Help me, my brain is frozen. I drank it too fast. All right, start running around like a crazy man. Run around like a crazy man. There you go. Oh, my brain.
My brain is frozen.
My brain is frozen. Oh, and that's how we play Jamba Juice Theater. Martin Short is on the program, and James Blunt will be right back with tonight's Top 10, everybody.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing
On a Carnival cruise, at any one moment, there are a million ways to have fun. Go say Carnival, the fun ships.
Yeah, so I'm taking Katie out dancing this weekend. You think you could teach me some moves? What? Yeah. Everybody knows you guys know how to dance, right?
You guys. You mean all us Jetta guys, right? I thought you were my friend.
Stereotyping is stupid. Sure, Volkswagen owners are 57% more likely to go dancing, but that doesn't mean they're all dancers. Lose your ignorance at thejettareport.com.
Heartburn?
Painful.
Zantac.
Okay.
Better?
Completely.
Zantac's fast. Maximum strength Zantac after a meal quickly relieves heartburn.
Dinner?
Sure.
Zantac.
First.
Prevents?
Definitely, Zantac's fast. Maximum strength Zantac before a meal prevents heartburn. Heartburn?
Yeah.
Prescription.
Slow.
The leading prescription can take a day or more to fully work.
Zantac.
Better. Zantac's fast. For heartburn, why wait? Zantac's fast.
We gave it a body reinforced with ultra-high-strength steel for greater safety. The new 7-passenger GL. It's more Mercedes to love.
After 2 years together.
You said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Gary and Brooke are both still in love.
I'm done.
With their condo.
The only logical thing is for her to move out and pay me some sort of a penalty.
What?
Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston.
Don't even get me started on your brother.
Richard is not gay.
Move yourself. You always live your life, never thinking of the future.
The Breakup, rated PG-13, starts June 2nd.
Now that he's running for governor, Phil Angelidis claims he'll take on oil companies. But in the last 15 years, Angelidis has been hitting up those same oil companies for political contributions. The Chronicle reported Angelidis raised hundreds of thousands from big oil. Chevron, Texaco, Arco, Mobil, Occidental, and BP Amoco. He's even taken thousands from Enron. As governor, will Angelidis really be able to stand up to his friends in the oil industry after they've given him so much money?
We gave it unit body construction and a 7-speed transmission for greater handling and performance. The new 7-passenger GL. It's more Mercedes to love.
Is on the program, and also James Blunt got a kid who wanted a pizza, so we went next door and bought him a lovely pie. Where are you, son? Now we have some plates and some napkins, so pass it out. Thank you. Good luck to you. That's tasty. That's from Angelo's right next door. Tremendous, tremendous pie. Ladies and gentlemen, here's tonight's top 10 list. Let's go. Yeah, this might be the real thing. Yeah, the more I look at it.
Yeah.
Because look how wrinkled it is. It's from the year 22.
It's got to be. Year 22.
The category tonight, top 10 signs there's trouble in the Clinton marriage.
Now, what is this about?
Well, here, it was reported on page 1 of today's New York Times that prominent Democrats are concerned about the state of the Clintons' marriage and how it may affect Hillary's possible bid for the presidency in 2006. So there is some concern. There is some level of concern about the condition now of the Clintons' marriage. Top 10 signs there may be trouble in the Clinton marriage.
Okay.
And these came right out of the Times.
Okay.
These were right on the front page of the Times.
These are the top signs, okay.
Here we go, number 10. During sex, Bill's been calling out the names of divorce lawyers. Number 9. She's voting for Taylor Hicks. He's voting for Catherine McPhee. Number 8, ABC's fall lineup features Bill as the next bachelor. Number 7. Their last public appearance was on Morrow. I'll tell you something. I wouldn't give that Morrow's troubles to a monkey on a rock. Number 6, forget Africa. When Bill's looking for a troubled region, he goes to their bedroom. Number 5, wistful way Bill talks about happier times, like the impeachment. Number 4, everywhere you look in the house, interns. Number 3, there have been a lot of fact-finding trips to Stiletto's Gentlemen's Club. Number 2, it's gotten so bad even Hillary's cheating. And the number 1 sign there's trouble in the Clinton marriage, Bill's calling Charlie Sheen for advice.
What are you doing, David?
Well, just a little reminder to send this one to the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian.
Yeah. Okay. Our first guest is a Tony Award-winning actor starring in a brand new musical entitled Fame Becomes Me. There it is right there. It opens May 27th in Toronto, Canada. Here's the one, the only, Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Oh, fabulous to see you. Look fabulous.
Oh, he's doing me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I like the whole Howie Mandel look.
What?
Yeah. Deal or no deal?
That's me.
You look great, and we're dressed almost identically.
Look at that. Isn't that
striped
nice?
Suit and the blue tie, yeah.
Well, it's very becoming for men of our age.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
But I'll tell you something. I know that guys aren't supposed to say this to other guys, not in this part of town, but you look hot. Yeah.
Really?
You do.
I don't think so.
It is unbelievable.
No.
Is it the Budokan? Are you fasting?
No, I don't. I'm doing nothing. No, really.
Is it the augmented calves? It's just you have a whole Colin Farrell, you know, oversexed bad boy quality.
Well, I don't know.
No, you're so boyish.
Okay.
I looked and I thought, my God, is Harry Letterman hosting?
My son,
Yes,
that's not. But thank you. That's very kind of you to say
well,
those things.
thank you. You're welcome.
Now, Marty, tell us a little about growing up in Canada. And you still vacation there, right? You still live?
I have, yeah. Well, we have a cottage.
That's nice. On Lake.
well, I'm not going to name it.
Of course, but it's like one of big, popular, beautiful resort lakes.
Beautiful, beautiful resort lake, and it's like an old home. And I go there from like middle of June till the end of August and just fish and watch the loons, watch them fly. I get very moved by the loons. I do.
I see.
And you kind of lose yourself, you know. You almost,
think so. Yeah.
after a month and a half, 2 months, you almost forget your publicist's name.
And
you say, I'm becoming a monster.
When you're in Canada, things are a little different than they are here in the United States. The holidays are a little different. We don't share all common holidays. I mean,
well, we have Thanksgiving, but ours is in September.
It's a little earlier.
It's early. We stuff the turkey through the beak. We have different traditions.
Through the beak, is that a fact?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, like you think your way's better. and we...
I don't know.
What?
I'm not judging, I just commenting.
There was a little bit of judgment in your
no,
voice.
I didn't mean,
like,
certainly, far be it for me to criticize.
We're a lovely, lovely country.
And you don't have the 4th of July, of course.
No, we have Canada Day.
Canada Day?
July 1st.
July 1st.
And then we have we don't have Memorial. We have the Queen's birthday, which is the 24th, the 24th of May. But sometimes we celebrate it on a different date. You know, on the 22nd. And when I was
wait a minute. Why the difference? Why 22nd, 24th? What?
You know, if you're going to be picky about everything in the world.
I don't.
No, it's because it's the Monday. The first Monday of where the Queen's birthday. And by the way, her birthday's not the 24th of May. It's Queen Victoria's birthday. But as kids, it used to be called Firecracker Day. And
wow.
Yeah. And
Firecracker Day.
Firecracker Day. And you'd be given a bag of explosives. They'd have cannon crackers, and you would like, you know, the whole year your father would be saying, "Now finish that plate of meat, or you're not, and brush your teeth." But on that day, you're given a thing of explosives, and you would go out and accidentally blow up cats and birds and people would be injured.
No.
They stopped it since.
Yeah, it has been stopped. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But it sounds idyllic up there on a lovely Canadian spring-fed lake. It must be beautiful.
It is beautiful. I wish you'd come and visit.
Well, I have not been invited, I guess is the reason I've been reluctant to come up.
Well, so you don't feel close enough to me that you can just drop by?
No, probably not.
Hi, it's Dave.
You have come all the way to Canada.
It is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. You know, you fly fish.
You, a lot of friends come in.
You have friend. Paul's been there.
Yes, it's idyllic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the name of the lake right now, and who all your neighbors are.
Don't do it.
No, I'm just.
No, you can go ahead.
But is this
Money
where
vows will just
you
go up.
redid your vows, Paul?
Well, let's not get into that now. That's a half-an-hour story.
Paul did his vows.
Yeah, what do they say?
My wife did it as a surprise for me, yes. Flew up a rabbi from Toronto, and all of a sudden, there we were. Do you take this woman? I said, I'm already married.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Kathy had her whole dress flown up.
Well, that's a very nice
Paul had no idea. No. He didn't know what was going on. And there was Canadian press there.
Oh,
Is it true Tom Hanks is coming off Martin? Tom Hanks
David
was there.
Letterman is helicoptering in. I said, what are you talking about?
I would like you to come.
Yeah.
I'm
Now, listen,
inviting you right now.
In your younger days, in your nascent stage of your career, did you ever
My
do
what?
nascent? The beginning, the
So
birth.
Hooked on Phonics has really clicked.
It has worked. Has worked.
Yeah. Because when I first met you, you weren't using words like nascent.
No, that's right.
Hi, Marty. The spit and polish of millions of dollars have really changed you.
Did you ever try stand-up comedy? You've done every other form of
I never did stand-up.
Never did stand-up.
No. I think they're too. I think when you're like 12, you. In my age group, you either listen to Bob Newhart or stand-ups, or you were listening to Nichols and May. And for me, stand-up was always frightening and lonely. But one time, there was a friend of mine who had she headed a punk rock group called Rough Trade.
Rough Trade.
And she said, "Do you want to open for me?" And I thought it wouldn't be that tricky. I'd never done stand-up. So I spent a couple of days just going over material, and I was thinking, maybe I'll be like a thinking man's Charlie Rose, kind of throw references to Camus, and I didn't want laughs as much as I wanted people in the audience to turn to each other occasionally and go, exactly. Yeah.
Well.
And meanwhile, I'm opening up for people, in wearing, the band wears chaps and a jockstrap. That's it. And people are card rough. I hadn't judged the audience. So I went out and they were screaming and chanting, and I hadn't left the house yet. I was still, and
still at home.
Thank you. But it was horrible, and I bounded out, kind of doing what's a nice country like you doing in the state like this? And I looked down, and people are dressed as my deceased parents just to torment me. Just to be mean.
Oh, that's ugly.
Bleeding.
Yeah.
And then a guy, truthfully, came out and threw a beer in my face. Even the crowd was shocked. A good half of them stopped chanting, because they were stunned.
Yeah.
And then so I never did it again. And the girl came back, who head of the band, came back and said, "Oh, I swear tomorrow night's gonna be so different." And I said, "Yeah, because I'll be home watching Jamie Farr, steal every scene in MASH. I am not gonna." So I never did it again.
Yeah, good for
Did you like doing stand-up?
No. I was always, like you mentioned, I was always frightened. I was not a second of the time that I was on stage, I wasn't frightened.
And were you a hit?
No.
I remember you were a hit.
No, it wasn't.
I remember we were doing the David Steinberg show in Toronto.
In Toronto,
and you came at the very end.
Yeah. It was an interesting thing on that flight, and it was one of these things. We left Los Angeles at like 9 or something, got to Toronto at 2 or 3 in the morning, whatever it was. We get over Denver, and they had to make an emergency landing because a guy on the flight died.
So that was a good omen for the appearance?
They said, well, we were going to have to make an emergency landing, and then we started to go down, and they said, you know what, the emergency is past. So they moved everybody off the back of the plane and loaded him, and he stretched out in the back. And then when we landed in Toronto, his family was there to meet him, and they said, you know what, he was an old guy, he'd spent the last week in Las Vegas, he was a happy man, it's fine, don't worry about it. So it had a happy story.
So it's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story, but I mean, it's the only time I've ever had a guy die on a plane with me.
Yeah. And as a stand-up, did you take that material and say, I wonder if I could mold it into a routine? Did you do that?
Well, you saw how it went here.
Yeah, boy. That guy died twice.
I died. We'll be right back here with Martin Short.
Every day, people save more and more money on Priceline. Save when you find your own hotel. Save even more when we find it for you. Priceline now has more ways to save than any leading travel site. Priceline, more ways to save. Here's another way. Hotels up to half off. Book top hotels this summer and save up to 50% off Expedia and Hotels.com. Only on Priceline.
The tests are completed. The results are in. The all-new Kia Sedona is the first and only minivan to earn both the Insurance Institute's top safety pick and the government's 5-star crash safety rating in all 4 categories. The all-new Kia Sedona, the highest safety-rated minivan ever built. And with a 10-year warranty and this special offer, it's also the best value on the road.
A wife and husband out of control.
You don't have the right to drive drunk with my family on the road.
I need help. A new Dr. Phil in Primetime, Escaping Addiction, CBS Wednesday.
As a teacher, I can always tell when children have gone to a quality preschool. They read better and learn faster.
Voting yes on 82 means quality preschool for every 4-year-old, for the 80% of kids who don't have it now.
It means credentialed teachers, more parental involvement and accountability.
There's even jail time if preschool money is misused.
That's why California teachers say vote yes on 82, so all our kids can do better in school.
Is it possible to engineer desire? An entirely new ES, the Lexus ES350.
As governor, he cracked down on polluters. As mayor, Oakland's crime rate is down 33%. Jerry Brown gets the job done. The Los Angeles Times has endorsed Jerry Brown for Attorney General. His record is a rare combination of innovation and pragmatism. In Oakland, he's instituted curfews for felons and reduced the crime rate. Jerry Brown is pro-choice, tough on polluters, and tough on crime. The San Francisco Chronicle says the choice is clear. Jerry Brown for Attorney General.
This,
yes, baby. Yes, Pappy.
This seems like a natural to me because you've appeared on Broadway musicals and other kinds of.
I have won a Tony and 2 daytime Tonys.
And 2.
Not many people can say that.
And so this just makes perfect sense. This is the logical extension of your stage career. Tell us about Fame Becomes Me.
Well, it's the I always have these Christmas parties at my house in December. Interestingly enough. My wife, again, I'm extending an invitation. I know you've never been invited, but right today,
thank you.
the invitation comes your way, the cottage and Christmas. And we, they're very loose and people get up and perform and I sing and people sing. And I thought that would be a good idea of a show, except I realized that it's not enough. I was worried now that you have to show more angst. So I basically tell the story of my life, but I exaggerate it and lie about it.
I see.
And where there's no pain, I just make it up. Because I think that in modern day show business, you have to show angst and pain or they're not interested.
Well, I agree with that, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
And what...
It's completely true. I mean, like, in the Olympics, if you don't want to see a runner, you want to hear about her second cousin's flirt with gingivitis. That's the story.
Her flirt with gingivitis. Didn't really have it.
No.
It was a false positive.
It was a false positive.
But, so how much of the biographical information is true?
Not much. Not much. I just, you know, to take. They don't know. No one
That's
knows.
right. How can they check?
No one knows. I talk about working with Bob Fosse and Tommy Tune, and when my dad was a legendary film star in Canada. They think it's all true. None of it's true.
Yeah.
I talk about when I go into drug rehabilitation. And I don't drink.
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, it makes for good fodder.
And how is it playing in Canada? It's opening up in Canada.
Well, we did San Francisco for a month, and we're doing at the Cannon Theater. We start May 27th for 6 weeks, and we go to Chicago and open here in August.
Oh, my God.
And it's a one-man show with a cast.
How many folks do you have in the cast?
Six, including myself. Mr. Mark Shaman, Scott Whitman directed.
This should be the highly anticipated big hit of the season, is what I'm thinking.
Well, I'd like to think so. Yeah. I mean, you're often right. You've been right a lot, but a lot of things.
I am Mr. Broadway. I really am.
You are Mr. Broadway.
I'm Mr. First Nighter. Yes. Yes.
You are?
Yes, Paul.
Because when I did Little Me, you just sent the candygram, and I didn't, but you didn't come backstage.
No, this one I'm coming. I'll be there for sure.
And how will you be backstage? Let's say we're backstage.
I'm good backstage. Paul, wasn't I good backstage when you and I went backstage?
He was very well behaved, actually, backstage.
Yeah, so I'll say, Dave, did you like it?
Yeah. And I'll say, well, fantastic. It was just tremendous.
Like that?
Well, no, because after the performance, of course, I'll be full of adrenaline, and I'll be trembling.
Right.
I'll be trembling.
Because people... You'll be trembling?
Trembling, yeah.
Because people are very vulnerable after a show.
Oh, I know. It's the most vulnerable time for any performer.
Yeah, and they don't want truth.
No, I'll be...
There'll be no truth on stage during the evening.
I'll be endlessly supportive. Endlessly supportive and congratulatory.
Well, you are like... It's like sitting with a saint that hasn't been recognized by the church yet.
It's funny. It's how I feel. It's exactly how I feel.
Well, you're
now, Marty, I'm so happy because whenever you're here, and especially today, I've been feeling a little down.
How come?
I'm not sure. When I found out you were going to be here, I said, "Oh, great! He'll bring a song, and that will cheer me up." So, do you have a song for us tonight?
Well, I mean, you know, sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Today, I do.
Well.
That worked out fine.
Beautiful. It's our lucky day.
You know, it's interesting. Sometimes I just do frivolous numbers. And sometimes I think they're kind of more important. And I think tonight it's a little more important because I'm going to sing a song. I'm the new celebrity spokesman for the NSA.
Oh, National Security Agency?
Security Agency. I always, but they contact me. Somehow they have my number. And, and anyway, this is, you know, so I've been touring with a little show as a tribute to NSA.
Oh, that's great.
With my dancers, the Short Steppers.
Dancers?
Yeah, we have some dancers, Short Steppers.
Dancers?
Yeah. And I love to, we've been doing it at schools and auditoriums, and I'd love to just, I'll sing it right
No.
What if I do this?
Because
it's real coy.
It's a waste of the big stage. We have all that stage over there.
You know what? You're so right. See,
it'd be better.
That's why you're so
that's
sad.
Right.
That's why you've been on the air for 11 years.
You'd be better off over there.
You know, David,
yeah.
In my business, or in our business, we sometimes receive a higher calling. And I don't mean from God or from the voices in your head telling us to kill. I mean from Uncle Sam. And when I say Uncle Sam calls, I say you take that call. I mean, maybe you tell your assistant you're busy and you'll call back later, but eventually you get back to him. And that is his magic. And I haven't done government work really for years, since the 60s when I was a pool boy for LBJ. Rumors of me having an affair with his wife